This is a Tape Deck podcast.
Hello and welcome back to We'll Run For. This is your host Tom, and with me as always are Aaron.
Hello.
Michael.
Hello.
And Diana.
Hi.
This is
We're back.
This is
We're back.
part 2 of our Dopey to Dumbo coast to coast marathon weekend to Disneyland Half Marathon weekend review. So we're gonna keep going. I don't know if we have any housekeeping because we've literally.
It's been 20 minutes.
we forgot people that we ran into.
We did,
I know you said that
names,
we missed Susie. So if we missed you, that we ran into you, we apologize
deeply.
It was a long weekend.
Housekeeping.
And it was very, very long ago for us at this point.
Yeah.
I mean, every day feels like a year in
pretty
our
much,
life at this point. So marathon weekend was for sure 2 years ago, right?
At least 2 years.
True. We're going to jump right into our review of the Disneyland Half Marathon weekend. Run Disney is back after 7 years, which they kept mentioning.
Did they say that once or twice?
Like a lot?
All of their signs were like return and it definitely they had jackets and stuff that said return, didn't it?
Yeah, it said we're back.
Yeah.
All kinds of stuff.
I've been looking forward to this because we haven't really talked much ourselves.
No idea
amongst how you guys felt about the weekend. I have spoken to an okay number of people. I kind of stayed off social media a bit the weekend of the race itself because I was a little sad we weren't there. So I was trying to kind of distance myself a little bit from it, but I did basically hear bottlenecks, tripping hazards, terrible course, the Anaheim, what's the who sports ball there? What stadium did you go through?
The Angels and the Ducks ball. And the Ducks.
I was told that that was worse than Blizzard Beach.
It wasn't.
No.
I heard that the start lines were a mess.
So let's
kind of curious how this recap's going to go.
I guess we can start at the start.
Start line or the start of the weekend?
I don't know.
The expo.
Do you want to start at the expo?
Yeah,
you might as well since we didn't.
Well, let me take you to the morning of the expo because they had the virtual queue for the Run Disney merchandise. Right. And promptly at 7 a.m., Diana, myself, Nicole, and Ryan all tried to get into the queue, right?
Okay.
And we all hit the button basically at the same time. And it's a running theme that Ryan has a horseshoe up his butt because
magically gets a.
I was like,
because he wins the lottery and
I'm gonna get this wrong, but I was number 53. I think Diana was 57 or switch that. Nicole was 127 or 137, and Ryan was 5.
And so you got all different times? You guys didn't?
No. You didn't have to name anybody. You just had to say your party size, and it capped it at 6 people.
Yeah, everything at Disneyland is different. The app is completely different. How they do everything is completely different. And I kept forgetting that, and I'm like, where are we? Because nothing works. Okay,
because in the Run Disney in the World app, you have to select your party,
and you don't have to.
Oh, okay. That's interesting.
But we did play with it because we were like, well, what if somebody goes in and picks 20 people? And they had a max. You could only do a party of, I think, 6. Maybe
it was 6. Yeah.
The most people that you could have on it. So we did that, and then we canceled the ones we had later. We kept one for somebody that was coming in on a flight later. So we could just hand off the phone. But, and we flew in on Wednesday because it was Tom's first Disneyland race, and I think it was Ryan's first Disneyland race. So they wanted merchandise because it was their first time there. For me, it was kind of hit or miss. Like, I didn't need to be there, but we did it so that they could kind of get what they wanted.
Yeah, and out of the whole group, I guess you and Nicole and Nikki had run Avengers half before.
Mm-hmm. And we've done Tinkerbell.
And you've done Tinkerbell. So you had experience with running through Disneyland and Anaheim and all that jazz.
Mm-hmm.
But so we go to the expo. It's all at the Disneyland Hotel. It was all in the same building, basically, which is kind of nice because, you don't have to leave one and go to the other and all that stuff. So it was all in the Disneyland Hotel, which was nice.
Oh, that's cool.
We get in line. We saw we met a listener. Andrea runs Real Things.
Cool.
We're walking to our line, up to the line, and she was like, "I love your podcast," and we were chatting with her a little bit, which is very nice. And then, and I forgot this, and hold on, I don't even have my phone, but we met an author later in the line when just randomly talking to people in the line. And I had the Will Run For hat that says podcast on it. So one woman was like, "Tell me about your podcast." And we were chatting a little bit. And then she starts hyping up another lady who was her friend. Now, this person was...
She's like historical Disneyana. So like pre D23, pre that, like the OG like fan community.
Oh wow!
Where they used to do like the meetups in Anaheim, and then there was a big Disneyana, like I think somewhere in the Midwest. So old school Disney person.
Wow,
and
that's cool.
And she wrote a book called The Disneyland Detective, which I was like, "Oh, that's awesome. Do you get residuals for that?" And she's like, "Not anymore, but it's on Amazon for $1." So I pull up Amazon, and it was on Amazon for $1.25, and I bought it.
Oh, cool!
So that was a really cool interaction.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
So the expo opened at 10. We got there probably like 9:15ish. Kind of wandered around a little bit. They had double lines, so they kind of had Club Run Disney ran in there and like they decimated it.
Oh geez.
So that was a big thing, but there were people everywhere. They didn't know where to put the people. So eventually they started a line outside that was just a generic line. It didn't matter what group you were in. So they just had everyone get in there, and then they called like 1 through 5, and they brought you over to another area where they had just like tape. Indy is very comfortable, where they had tape like on the ground for 5 lines. So then you had to get in your individual if you were group 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then in Disney World, where they call like 1 through 5 at the same time and everyone just goes in, you were kind of escorted in one at a time. And they were bringing those in like every 5 or 10 minutes. And then I said, Michael would have loved this, because then you went inside and there was another line. To get into the actual like Run Disney merch. So, I mean, it was relatively organized. The same thing it always was. I remember the first time, it was the first time Tom had ever been to any Disney park. We were there for Avengers, and we had breakfast in the Disneyland Hotel. We did like a character breakfast, and then walked over, and they had people lined up in like a conference room because it was before a virtual queue. And I had to explain to Tom like what the line was for and all of that stuff. So like that hadn't really changed at all. There were kind of people with piles of crap on the ground like there always are, but not so much for mobile check-in. It seemed like, and I don't want to put anyone on blast, but what it seemed like was happening is Club Run Disney got in, were grabbing stuff for people, and then rather than paying and leaving and then meeting them later, they were just hanging out in there next to their pile and waiting for their friends to come in and then handing them stuff.
Oh, geez. That makes a bigger cluster.
What it seemed. And picture it, it's probably about a quarter of the size of like what the normal like Run Disney merch area is. Like there were no areas on the side where you could, where like at Disney World there's kind of a square in the middle where everything is, and then there's like a perimeter.
Yeah, there's like the outside.
There's no perimeter. You can't go. If you were trying to like sit on the ground or something, they would stop you immediately. Hey, you can't sit. You can't, they were letting you kind of try stuff on, but you had to kind of stand and, kind of come off to the side and do that. Cause it's like a much smaller space.
Area,
like they didn't even have like generic Run Disney stuff. Like they just had race specific merch.
Gotcha.
So, so that was, I don't know. We were there early enough where we got everything we wanted. I don't think anyone didn't get anything they wanted. I know later in the day, the water bottle holder had sold out and people were like, I never even saw it. But it's so weird because I think from like race to race, like they don't know what's going to be popular because they had those things at I think they had them at springtime, and I think they had them at marathon weekend, and like they didn't sell out, like they weren't super popular, but like here they were really popular. And then they had these little fanny pack things. I guess those were really popular. I had pre-ordered a jacket and like a pin bundle and stuff like that. So the stuff that I really wanted, I didn't have to, wait in line for. We actually didn't do as much damage as we normally do.
No, like I got a jacket because I really liked the marathon and Dopey jackets from Dopey last year. So I got the jacket, got like 2 shirts. Just some stuff, right? Like the magnets, we, as a couple, we only get 1 magnet, that kind of thing. So it wasn't terrible.
Yeah. The thing is with the pre-ordered merchandise, and I don't know why they do this. I have to look for Springtime Stores if they change this, because I know Nicole ordered 2 of the like Dumbo pin set. And I said, I didn't order that because it's all the same pin. And she said, what? Because she didn't read. So I'm sure lots of people did this. She got the 3 different styles of the Dopey or the Dumbo pin rather than Dumbo Half Marathon 10. Like they weren't selling it like as that.
Okay.
It was like, here are the 3 it's like the metal one, this one, and that one, like the 3 different styles of the Dumbo medal, not a Dumbo medal, a half marathon, and a 10K medal, and like a
gotcha.
So like that was a pain. But other than that, like I don't know, we got everything that we wanted. It was hot. I was thirsty. I was having a little bit of a meltdown, as per usual.
So yeah, from then it just kind of funneled you out onto the expo floor, which again wasn't big. It wasn't huge.
Yeah, and so it's the same building. The expo for the race is literally just right outside. Like you pay, you walk through, and then you're in the expo.
In the expo.
You're in the expo, which is probably the same, about a quarter of a size. We stopped by Sparkle Skirt. I said hi, but they were packed. They were slammed. So I just kind of said hi and got my little freebie thing and then ran away. We saw Run Disney and Kelly. Chatted with them a little bit. And then by that point, I was hot and thirsty and I needed to get out of there. They didn't have any characters at the expo. They did have some photo stops.
I did see a ton of complaining about the lack of characters pretty much everywhere.
They've never had characters at any of those things at Disneyland.
And that was like, and you can kind of, this is like the theme for the entire weekend. It was people that had either run Disneyland before or not, or people who had run Walt Disney World before or not. And
the expectations were
expectations were, everybody expected Florida and California. And then everybody that had done it before was refuting that with, but they were like, it's always been like this.
Yeah, that's all I kept saying. I was like, it's always been like this.
So it was just comparisons the entire time.
I was thinking some things might change. So like for the 10K day, I was like, we should get there early. They didn't used to have characters, but maybe they've changed something that now it's in a location. They'll have characters, but they didn't. But I wasn't like expecting because they hadn't had it before.
Why that is.
I don't know. Part of the problem is, and the reason why they don't do, or they hadn't done races there, is because they fight with Anaheim all the time.
Well, I agree with that.
Anaheim doesn't want a bunch of people on the street. They don't want people drinking. And the start and everything like that. You think Disney, they own all of that, all of everywhere you are with the races for miles and miles and miles. The start line is literally downstairs from a hotel. So, like, they can't do fireworks, not only because they're loud, but...
Yeah, because you're not actually on property.
You're not on property at all. Like, property is so small there.
Yeah.
There's, like... Yeah, they don't even do, like, Disney World, you're like, they have fireworks every single night. In Anaheim, they only do fireworks, like, every other night. Like, they'll do them on the weekends.
Yeah, they have certain times they can do them,
Yep.
So, was the finish line on property, or was it off property?
Off property.
Okay. So that's probably why they also can't have beer or drinks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because they're not. Yeah.
Because you're not.
It's
on
a whole
property.
different. Yeah.
Yeah.
The character thing is interesting, though, to me. Like, I can understand them not having alcohol and those kinds of things, but the character's not at the start line and the finish line are interesting.
I wonder if
to
there's
me.
some work rules though with off property and liability.
And California is really weird about work rules.
They have different.
They have different everything. And me working in like HR, like I know, like with California employees, like they have to take so many different like trainings and compliance stuff and this and that because of where they live, because California cares about their workers unlike the rest of the United States. So
exactly.
I don't know if that's it, but I was actually telling people, and when Tom and I were kind of planning how we were going to tackle it, I said to him, there will not be one character once you set foot off property. So if you want photos with characters, they're all going to be in the parks. And once you leave, they're not going to be in downtown Disney. They're not going to be near the hotel. They're going to be in the two parks, maybe backstage, but probably not. And then that's all you're going to get, and you're not going to get any more the rest of the race.
Now there were... like Donald and Daisy, because I was there for the 10K, they were at the start up on stage with Carissa. Mm-hmm. And then at the finish, like the announcers have their booth. And then like kind of next to that was another booth with the characters, right? Like Mickey and Minnie would have been there. Donald and Daisy would have been there. Yeah. But like they weren't out where you could take pictures with medals and all that. Like they weren't in the actual finish area. They were just kind of over with the announcers and all that kind of stuff. Like, but they
weren't even really where you could go get a selfie with them either.
No, because they were like right before the actual finish line.
Yeah.
So like,
but they're not like, because usually you have Minnie or Daisy or somebody like up standing higher above where the announcers are, and you can stop and take a selfie.
Nope.
Like with them behind you. You can't do that there.
Nope. And they don't have anyone super high. So even and PhotoPass in World and Land are completely different. Like you can't take 3 steps in Disney World without running into a PhotoPass photographer. In the parks during the day, at the races, they're constant. True. In Disneyland, there's, I don't know, 4 or 5 spots in the entire park where there are PhotoPass photographers, and they don't just hang out there all day.
I know that someone said that they're not even sure why you would buy a PhotoPass package. Like, even if you are just going to the parks, like there's almost no reason to like buy the memory maker, because there's like literally like 3 opportunities to even take pictures.
I don't even know if they sell it, because all the photos were free. And I don't know if they were free just that weekend, but like they were free. Like all their PhotoPass pictures were free.
That's good.
Well, the Genie Plus, the package that the tickets we got were with Genie Plus, which included with Genie Plus is photo whatever.
Oh, maybe that's why we got them for free, because we had the Genie Plus tickets.
If you had
so the way that the ticket we bought, that we'll hopefully get to use at some point, but the tickets we bought were Genie Plus, and it said in that little like when I read through the thing, that Genie Plus included the PhotoPass.
Gotcha. So maybe that's why we got them. But like they even have like old school stuff. So like when you get on Buzz Lightyear, they take like the world's crappiest photo of you with like a webcam. like up in some corner somewhere.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the ride, you have to put your email in. And then
I was told technology in Disneyland was definitely not up to par. Like even like Magic Band stuff.
Oh no!
And they physically wanted the ticket and everything.
Yeah, they just got Magic Bands like 2 years ago, and I don't think you can use them at the front gate. Like you can use them for,
which is what like they were saying.
Like you have to use your ticket. On your phone,
which I thought was interesting. And then, like I said, they were saying that there was no point in buying PhotoPass because we're a memory maker, because if you didn't get it, like the Genie Plus, because there was like no place. And because they have the roaming characters, they don't have PhotoPass that goes around with the roaming character. So you just have to hope that like when you see the roaming character, that somebody will be nice enough to take a picture that's like, behind you.
Very rarely, like in like places like Avengers Campus and stuff like that, they'll sometimes form a line, but a lot of places in the park, the characters are just out, and sometimes there's a line and sometimes there's a not. Sometimes they're just like standing with like a group of people around them just talking. So it's not like a character stop. But yeah, so the expo, we were planning on doing Trader Sam's that day, but because everyone had just gotten into town, it was crazy. So we pushed that. And then went to Ballast Point and started binge drinking, which made my Friday miserable. So,
but did you have to run a marathon that day?
I didn't have to run at all, which is why we did it.
Unlike some people who drink before a marathon.
No, we didn't have to run at all because none of us got into the 5K. So like we went and we actually went around to Anaheim, which we had never done before. So we did Ballast Point, which is right in Disney Springs. And then we went to this place I found on Instagram, or I think maybe Megan Avis found it on Instagram, called Craft. And it's like a craft cocktail bar. And they had like this like Sorting Hat Harry Potter drink that had like a like trunk and then the Sorting Hat on top. And then you opened it up and it had smoke, and then it sorted you into a house. So I got like Ravenclaw and my little cocktail. They had like a little duck drink, that kind of stuff. So we did that. It was a mistake because I did liquor and then beer and then liquor and then beer, which was awful because we had lunch and we were doing cocktails at lunch.
Yeah.
And then Ballast Point and then cocktails. And then we brewery hopped to like 3 different breweries. And then Ryan ran us ragged with Genie Plus on Friday. We got literally everything done in California Adventures, but I wanted to die. I got off in Credicoaster and I wanted to throw up.
It was so efficient. The breweries that we stopped at when we were brewery hopping we went to Monkish. We went to Unsung, which was,
I've got this shirt on,
easily my favorite brewery down there.
Yeah, they were really good.
And then we went to this place called Villains, which is a huge brewery, kind of all outside, all open air. And it was cold. I'll tell you what sunny California is very sunny, but it was also freezing most of the time.
Yeah, we were cold the whole time. Like there was one day we went into the park and I had leggings on under my jeans.
Wow.
I was freezing.
I did hear that it was
pretty chilly.
Yeah.
It was freezing. So yeah, Friday we just did the parks. We didn't do the 5K. We were even thinking, should we go out and like cheer and get up and do the 5? We did nothing for the 5K. So apologies for anyone who ran that. We did not support you.
We did not.
We didn't go out and see anybody. But we took advantage of, and it was great because no one was in the park. We were like, if we get in there before all the 5K finishers, and it did get more crowded during the afternoon, but we got so much stuff done. And this is a double-edged sword because I think it worked a little better here. You can't book your first Genie Plus until you're in the park at Disneyland, which kind of made it nice.
A little easier.
It was a little easier to get stuff and manage it. And we were able to do a bunch of stuff, get Genie Plus for stuff that had a bunch of 20-minute waits where you were able to walk on and get the next Genie Plus. So we didn't wait for anything that Friday.
And I know we're talking about the race, but if I can compare Walt Disney World to Walt Disneyland, I think I like Walt Disney World more because it's such an immersive experience and it's all Disney. Whereas you're very aware that Walt Disneyland is 2 parks surrounded by a city. However, ride for ride, any ride equivalent where there's the same ride in either coast, Disneyland pretty much beats the crap out of the rides in Disney World. Like Pirates is better. A Haunted Mansion is better. Like Small World's better. Like just they're more detailed. Jungle Cruise is better. They're more detailed. I just feel like the rides are better. That's it. Why am I still talking?
Yeah, rides are better. But we did kind of go at a weird time because they were switching back from Christmas, because the other good thing about Disneyland is you don't need a special ticket for a lot of their holiday stuff. So like you could go at the beginning of December and see like their Christmas parade in the middle of the day. You don't have to go to like a Mickey's.
Have to go to a party.
Go to a party. And they do it for all of December, not like what they do in World, which is like maybe the week of Christmas you can see all that stuff. So but they were switching over Fantasmic. They were switching over the parades. So there were no parades, and Fantasmic wasn't going on. We were there.
Which, when we saw Greg and Christy, that was like the one thing, like Christy said, she's like, you don't even want to do Disneyland right now. That they're not like running any of the shows and nothing's happening. Like, this is the worst time to go for your first time in Disneyland.
Yeah.
I was like, all right.
And like,
I know she was trying to make me feel better, but
she's right. And even like they had nothing playing at the Hyperion. Which I screamed to bring back Rogers the Musical, you cowards, when we ran by.
That's true.
So like there just wasn't like a ton of entertainment going on.
Gotcha.
While you're in the parks. But so yeah, and then we went back to bed kind of relatively early because I felt like garbage the entire day of the 5K. I will say the cool thing about the 5K in Disneyland is you start in Disneyland. Like the corrals are down Main Street, basically. Yeah. Like you start in the park and you stay in the park. Like I would say if you wanted to go to Disneyland and do races, you would be great just doing the 5K and 10K and have the best time.
Yeah.
Like, because the half is half outside the parks.
Yeah, so if you want to do full like park stuff.
So if you want to do, and I think you get more park time than Disney World, and I think it's more meaningful park time.
Oh, cool.
Than Disney World has at kind of any given time. Like Epcot, you always get like World Showcase and all that, but you know, at this point we're like whatever. But you get way more, I think, of the parks in Disneyland, and like running through like Pixar Pier and all that's great. And for the for the 5K and 10K, you run for the 10K, you run like a mile maybe, and then you're backstage and you're like there. So and I think they're better. I think the 5K and 10K at Disneyland are better than Disney World.
So that brings us to the morning of the 10K.
Yep.
We stayed in the Best Western, which basically backed up to the staging area.
Yeah.
So we had to kind of walk around the block. Once we figured out where we went, it was really easy.
We went the wrong way the first day.
We did.
I got a text from Megan Avis that said, "This is a cluster F." That morning, and I said, "It always is."
Yeah, I mean, I guess if you hadn't previously experienced Disneyland, I guess I think what's interesting about Disneyland is that for the most part, you can wake up from most hotels that if you got a hotel soon enough, you could wake up from most hotels, roll out of bed and walk to the start lines, which is way different experience. And obviously Disney World with having like the busing system and then worrying about whether the bus is going to like get lost or like all the awful transportation issues that happen in Disney World. So I do think it's interesting that I kept hearing like what's great about it is that even if you're staying at the Disneyland hotels, which are kind of actually inconvenient to the start line, but you still everything's still walkable. So you basically walk there. But at the same time, despite all of that, I heard that was a mild disaster.
Yeah, the half marathon day was better than the 10K day. The problem is they don't have the scanners. So if you remember doing even Disney World races, 5 or 6 years ago before they got the scanners.
Like being able to walk through the thing without
they have metal detectors and people looking in bags.
Okay.
So
yeah,
that's
like it used
why
to,
there's
like
a line.
pre-2019. Like you're talking like 2019
So
when in Disney World.
So it was the same thing. It's always worse in Disneyland. When I did Tinkerbell, we were, and for people that were there kind of know, you kind of got in kind of where that sorcerer's hat is ish in like near the Disneyland Hotel, and you were lined up past the entrances to both parks in a really slow moving line to get in through security, and they were sending people through like a hole in a gate. Here they had like 4 or 5, but it was still moving at like a snail's pace. So I think for the 10K day it took us like 35 minutes to get through security, maybe 40 minutes to get through security.
Oh wow.
The half marathon day, they had figured it out.
It
was much faster.
They moved
like
people real quick
minutes.
through. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we get into, and I'm not running the 10K.
Yeah, no characters or anything.
No characters, no beer, yada yada yada. I don't know why it even matters, because like I just wanted a pineapple cider. But I knew that wasn't going to happen.
Yeah.
Anyways, so there was, we saw a few people.
We saw Anna and Susanna and Snarky.
Yep.
You were talking to them. As per usual, was like in a porta potty line.
That's true. And then really, I mean, there's, not much going on. So we kind of just walked to the starting corrals.
Yeah. And it was you, me, and Megan.
For the 10K.
For the 10K.
Yes. Yeah.
You, me, and Megan. So we started in our corral. No issues for the 10K day with the corrals or anything.
And for the 10K, since I wasn't running, I just kind of walked towards the start line, and I'm perpendicular to the actual corrals. So I was like standing next to Corral A the entire time, about 25 feet from Carissa. And I forget the guy's name, the other co-host.
Not John Pelkey,
but he was good. The other guy was good. His name escapes me. And then like they had characters up there, and they were,
DJ Tetris.
Tetris is the man on the street there, and Tetris is a billboard DJ, because I looked him up. He's got like 80,000 followers, and he was kind of the man in the corral, doing interviews. He was
doing trivia and stuff.
In trivia, he was good.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you didn't do the 10K. So
I didn't do the 10K.
Is Megan, Nicole, Ryan, and I. We all started together.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
So, I was there. I saw the runDisney athletes kind of line up, and they went out first, and then I was just watching the timing, because I was so close that I could watch the race director give cues to Carissa as to, you have 30 seconds, you have 5 seconds, whatever. And I could hear all this stuff. So it was very interesting to watch.
Oh, that's cool.
And like, so the race starts at 5, right? 4:58, runDisney starts. And then Corral A starts 2 minutes later. And then 5 minutes later, and almost on the dot, they were releasing 5 minutes,
Mm-hmm.
right? And Corral A, B, and C were about the same size. Well, Corral A was kind of small, but B and C were about the same size. And then D and E were at least double the size of Corral's, like, B and C. So it was just interesting to watch all that. And then everybody was throwing off their Mylars, and,
It was so cold. I had gloves on.
Yeah.
I was wrapped in Mylar. I did not bring enough clothes. I was frigid. And then actually periodically through the race, it got progressively more cold rather than warmer as you ran. So we saw Mark at like mile 1, and I threw him my gloves, and then like 20 minutes later I was like, I wish I had my gloves, because I'm
oh god.
Yeah.
freezing.
Well, it's always coldest right before dawn. So technically, like, it continues to get colder before the sun fully comes up, and you don't realize it. Yeah, because I think that happens a ton of times at actual runDisney too, because like we're there so early that the sun's not even coming like close to coming up, that you forget that it's still like on its way down before it goes back up.
Multiple hours of getting colder. Yeah.
And it starts so early. It was really nice because when you run through like Pixar Pier and all that, all the lights were on, so it's really pretty. I thought there weren't a ton of characters, but there were an okay amount of characters. Ryan ran ahead, got in line. So then we were able to jump in hit with him and get a couple of characters. There were a couple like missed opportunities because Avengers Campus has like a little area where they do shows that's up high, kind of like in Galaxy's Edge, where they'll have like characters walking.
Yeah.
They should have had some Avengers characters just walking around up there, but people would have shit them. I'm sorry, but people would have overreacted, and it would have caused a huge like pile up. I think if they had, they should have. I don't know. Part of me is like they should have had Avengers characters there, but I think if they had Avengers characters out there, the lines would have been so insane. Everyone would have gotten swept.
Yeah, that's true.
Like it's hard. It's hard to know. It's hard to know because I know the lines would have been crazy. But they should have done more. They also, in Disneyland, the characters were not super unique. So they had just like regular Goofy out there. They had, nobody was really in special outfits or anything. There was nobody particularly like super rare. It wasn't like, Elvis Stitch. It was, so they could have done a better job there, I think. And when you finished the race, it was freezing and I made us leave. So we didn't talk to, I think, anybody.
It was, it's less than a quarter mile from the start to the finish. So basically, once I saw the last corral go out, I turned around and walked to the finish.
Oh, nice.
And in that time, I missed I saw the first place runDisney athlete come through, and then I missed the first place runner because I was in the porta potties. But I heard that person, and then I just watched the finish for a little bit until everybody finished. It was it was nice, but again, like there was no reason to stay.
Yeah.
Especially when like you don't have to worry, like, well, we're going to have to get on a bus and then we're going to have to go back to the hotel and blah, blah, blah. Like our hotel is right there.
Yeah.
Like, all of our stuff is right there.
We didn't even check a bag because we were so close to the hotel. You had a bag that had like a sweatshirt in it for us.
Yeah.
That was good.
Yeah.
And I wish I would have done that for the half, but you were so close. Like the hotel room was right there.
But again, if you compare the two, you're always going to have, you're going to skew negative, right? Because it's just not the same experience by any means. And I think they do a good job because they have to contest with a city that is,
actively fighting against them.
I was going to say, actively does not want you to be there.
Yeah, they do not. It's so weird to me because Disneyland was there first because it was nothing there. And then Anaheim like built up around them and was like, I can't believe Disneyland's here. Like, I don't understand.
Well,
it's like moving next to a fire station and then being like, oh my God, there's a siren all the time. Like, it doesn't make sense. Like,
yeah.
So let's chat about the half. They figured out security because that moved pretty quickly.
Yep. I tell you, it is nice. Like our alarms were going off at like 3:15. We took our time. We got out. I think we left the room at like 4.
Oh, 3:15 is a dream.
Like,
yeah, that's like awesome.
Like,
yeah.
Like not like that's an extra hour of sleep.
I think we left the room at like maybe 3:50. Maybe it might have been even closer to 4 with the race starting at 5. We were a little close because the porta potty lines were way longer on the half day than they were on the 10K day, which I should have known. So we were in those forever. And we started in an earlier corral with Megan. So that's when it was the 3 of us.
I'll tell you what they were doing is they were grilling your bibs.
Oh yeah. So getting into Corral B
for bandits and stuff. For corralling.
Yeah, and I think they were only really triple checking because there's a huge line of people trying to get in the corral because I think people were sitting on the ground and not standing up, so there wasn't room for people. So it was that's, I think, where people were like, this is kind of a mess because there wasn't enough space for everyone to get in the B.
So I was actually kind of waiting for that part because I was wondering whether you experienced that, because I know somebody who said that they tried to get into the corral. The race started late.
The race started about 10 minutes late.
Because people were not in the corral, and they would not start the race until everyone was physically in a corral, and that you couldn't physically get into the corrals because there wasn't enough space to get into the corral. So in order to make the space, everyone had to like basically be like sardined together.
And once they had people move up, I didn't feel like too sardine-y. I mean, it felt close, but not like overly close. But there was a guy, because it took us a while to get in and we got in no problem. But then apparently, because I guess we were there early enough, then apparently there wasn't space for more people to come in. So there was a guy from like Run Disney walking through the middle of the corral, making everyone move up. Like move up to make space in the back of the corral.
And I know someone who got into a corral late and actually couldn't get into the corral because it was so crowded. And then I guess they were like one of the people where once they started moving people up, they were able to sort of get in. But they said that they were like literally half in the corral, half out, and they're like the Run Disney people are like yelling to get into the corral, and he's like, "Where do you physically want me to go?"
Yeah. I know, as per usual, the Weckerleys had a morning and arrived super late, and they were describing some chaos that happened because of who they are as humans.
You mean rolling up like 3 minutes before?
I know at Marathon weekend they had to jump a fence last year. I don't think they had to do that this year, but there was some corral issue where they had gotten wrong instructions, and Tom's like, were they in wrong instructions or...
That's funny.
So I know like they had like a corral issue kind of at the end. So then you start the half marathon. It's the first few miles are the exact same as the 10K, I think. Slightly different.
So you
characters.
Start in the park.
No, you start in that like parking lot.
Yeah,
the only race
like
you start in the park.
My earlier miles are the ones that are in the park.
Yep. So you run about a mile-ish into the park.
Okay.
This is where there was for the half where the lighting wasn't great.
Okay.
There was somebody that had fallen. Because it takes about, I don't know, maybe a mile-ish into the park, and you come in backstage, and they're definitely out of practice. Like, they didn't have enough lights back there. I had to take off because, I always wear sunglasses when I run because my eyes are crazy in photos, and I'm always looking weird. So I always wear sunglasses, and I had to put them on the top of my head while we were back there. But we saw one woman fall.
Yep.
I know we heard of a lot of falls. We heard one, a lot of people fell, and two, the kind of what you were saying, that nothing was like lit up correctly.
No, there were some lights, but they were few and far between. Also, the roads in California, you know how like when you're running on a road, sometimes there'll be like little I don't want to say, but like little reflective pieces.
Yeah.
In California, they stick up out of the ground. Pretty far.
Because those ones they do in areas where there's no plowing.
Yeah, so they do like really high ones, and people were tripping over that. During the 10K, we were running, and we saw a woman trip, roll, and stand back up and keep going.
Wow.
Somebody else said that they saw two people fall like 20 yards away from each other, and neither of them got up. So
the crazy part is how many people we kept hearing fell. Like Jackie from
Jack from
Rise and Run
fell
fell
on one of the reflectors
Yeah.
near the end.
We saw the
Mike Rahman fell.
Yeah.
I saw Mike Rahman fell.
Yeah.
Like there was just like like I just kept seeing everywhere like people talking about people falling.
I'm like, that's like something that's not like they gotta fix that.
And part of me is an a-hole where I'm like, I don't watch your feet, but like I never tripped or fell, and I'm awful. So
I have no comment.
So
I was very careful.
I think
it's treacherous.
Some of it, I think people forget because we're so spoiled by Disney World and how it's such a like I don't know, vacuum, like a bubble that we're in when we're there, that everything is like super safe and stuff. And here you have to treat it like you're on like a normal road race. Like you have to treat it like have to treat it like you're running in like Philly, and there are potholes and strangers on the side of the road, and like like, so I think I don't know, it was dark back there in a few spots. It was bad. And then I also don't know if I was at a slight advantage during the half because I had run the 10K and it was like the same course. So I kind of remembered, okay, we're going to come around this corner, and it was kind of dark. Right. And if you didn't know where you were going, you didn't know where you were going. And we started an early enough corral where it felt crowded, but it didn't feel like Cone Alley or anything really throughout the race.
Oh, that's interesting, because I feel like a lot of people said that's what it felt like almost the entire way when you started in like D or E. Like it was just so crowded the entire time.
Yeah, so I think we got lucky there. And again, they needed more characters, they needed more unique characters, but I thought there were an okay amount.
I just think there could be more. Like when you look at some of the places where the characters were, like they could have spread them out. We got up to where like Dumbo would be, and Dumbo was like on a stage, so you could like take a selfie. But once we got there, the guy that was kind of working the line was like, this line's closed and it won't reopen for 30 minutes.
30 minutes?
And I'm like, we just started. This is mile 2.
Yeah.
Like
30 minutes.
It was like mile 1, maybe.
It was something like that. It was just an odd thing to have happened.
That's a long time. I mean, that's thousands of runners going by in 30 minutes.
And he was like on a little stage, so we like ran over and got like a selfie, and then kept going.
That's crazy.
We waited in a line for Mater and Lightning McQueen.
And that was about mile 1-ish, little past mile 1. And that's where everyone finally caught up to us. We waited in that line. Before that, they didn't really have much. They had that little Dumbo, and then they had like a parade float in the back that people were stopping and getting photos with. So we kind of stopped at that first character, and everyone caught up. And then Sadness and a couple others, but not too many.
No. One of the big things that had happened was at mile marker around 3, when you left Hollywood, California Adventure.
Was that the bottleneck?
This was a bottleneck, and it was a choke point where it was like
standstill.
It was almost like as big as a crowd is wide. Like a couple hundred people standing still, walking through a water stop underneath like a bridge, and like people were making Cone Alley jokes and all this kind of stuff. And we were early enough where we kind of got through it fairly quickly.
Yeah, it probably took us 5 minutes, but I know people near the back it was taking them like 15 minutes.
It screwed people near the back, and I feel like I heard rumors that it definitely caused people to get swept.
Yes, I know somebody who says that they got swept because of that choke point, because they were 25 minutes before the balloon ladies and had sort of enough like leeway, and they said that they were there for a good 15 minutes, and somehow by the time the balloon ladies actually got to that area, I guess because they're at the very end, it had cleared a lot more, so they were able to what took them 15 minutes to get through took the balloon ladies like 3 minutes to get through.
Yeah. Nope. And that
so they lost most of their time, and they knew that they were already only doing like a 16:30 to a 17 pace because they were like not trained as well as they should be.
Yep. I mean,
so they said that just like as soon as that happened, they were like, I'm screwed.
I'm done. Yeah,
and
I heard that from
they got
people.
swept by, I think they said around 8 or 9, because they just couldn't stay ahead far enough anymore.
It's terrible. Again, we got relatively the problem was you turned a corner and went into a water stop, and once you're past like, the first even half of table water stuff, it opened up. So it wasn't even congested through the entire water stop. It was just, I guess, like everybody, you know what they do, where they like have to get water from like the first human being that they see instead of running down the table. I think that's what the problem was, like the location of the water stop combined with people needing to get water.
Yeah. I always try and go to like almost the last person in the thing because I very purposefully like kind of like go down the middle while everyone's kind of, and then I veer to the whichever side looks freer, like at the very end and grab water like before like because I can't, it drives me nuts.
And then Tom and I always talk about this, about how when you go to a Run Disney race, there's like nothing but rumors. Like everyone knows exactly what's happening and they've got the inside scoop because they know a guy who knows a guy, right? Like,
yes.
It's nothing but rumors. One of the rumors was that the Disneyland events group that puts on D23, because they have experience putting on D23, told the Run Disney Florida people that they didn't need them. So that they didn't have kind of the runner perspective when they were setting stuff up. And that was part of the problem with everything. Again, the rumor mill, everyone knows everything. Was like
who knows whether or not that's true or not.
But that was like a persistent thing that was going around. So I don't know if like one guy posted that on like a Run Disney page and then everyone ran with it. And I don't know if it's true or not true.
Totally see that happening. I mean, in any workplace, I could totally see that happening.
Yeah, where it's like, get off our turf.
Yeah.
Because I know when you talk to people that work there, they'll say, well, we work Run Disney Florida, is like what they were saying.
Yeah.
So you do the first 6 miles-ish. So a mile to the park, and then through 5, you're in the parks, backstage in the parks. You run through Downtown Disney. And then you're basically in Anaheim. And I will say this, and I expected it, that then you run through Anaheim and there's nothing. However, I will say this course was particularly bad. And again, I think it's due to Disney fighting with Anaheim, because before, when you ran a little bit more through like residential areas, like houses, and they had, and you did a little bit of that here, but not much, but they had for like a mile or two running through neighborhoods where like people would come out of their house like you would on like a normal race and see people out there. But then they would also have signs everywhere. Quiet zone, people live here. Shh. Like for like 2 miles while you're running through that. And then you ran through like a little downtowny area and then to the stadiums. Here, you ran through houses for maybe a half mile, if that. And then you went directly to industrial.
Oh.
Like you were running in kind of like the worst part of the city.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just trying to think if there was any kind of entertainment. Like later in it, like sort of near the end, you would see a high school band here and there, but like it wasn't
high school bands.
It wasn't anything in any kind of frequency.
Yeah, there are no characters out there.
Was this the parking lot? The sports ball parking lots. Was that where the cars were?
So the first one you get to is the Anaheim Mighty Ducks parking lot,
and they had a ton of stuff out.
They had like these big
a DJ.
Yeah, they had a DJ. They had these big blow up hockey players.
Yeah.
They had the official mascot of the Mighty Ducks that was out there taking pictures for people.
Yeah.
And it's basically like is it Blizzard Beach parking lot?
Yeah.
But much bigger. Like, so you were
Which I think made it slightly better because you were in there longer, but you were kind of looping around. Like you weren't like staring at each other in a square.
Gotcha.
Okay. That's why I say it's better, not because it like was like so much better, but I think it was better just because it wasn't like you're doing a square and running out. You're kind of like squiggling through all this stuff. There were a couple parts where it got really narrow and they didn't have like any of like the Run Disney signage up, like course narrows ahead or sharp turn or any of that, which they needed to have even though it's not in the park.
Yeah, and then after that, you make your way over to Anaheim Angels Stadium, and then again, same kind of thing. But in that stadium, there was definitely a band there, and then there was like
people had classic cars.
A classic Corvette group like had cars out, which was kind of neat. But and then you just went back to the start.
Yeah. The one thing, there are parts that I'm trying to remember. There was a part where you kind of ran on dirt that it used to be, and it would get windy, and there would be like just pebbles and sand blowing in your face.
Oh God!
Like I don't remember seeing that when we were just there. Like there weren't like any of the groups that came out. Like so, the Red Hat ladies used to come out and they did like a whole cheering session. But they had stopped doing that. Like they weren't at the last Tinkerbell we went to.
I was gonna say, I feel like that there was a whole controversy about them not being out there.
And then like the 501st, like they used to do Star Wars, but they used to do other races than Star Wars. Like they used to be out there for a lot of the races, and they're not. There was a guy in like a stormtrooper outfit that like holding a sign that's like bring the Star Wars races back, that kind of thing. But nothing. I mean, it's a dead zone out there, and there's not because you were in the industrial area instead of the neighborhoods. There was miles where you didn't really see anybody. So that's why I think that I was expecting to not be in the park. So like that didn't shock me. But like missing the neighborhoods is kind of what I miss, and missing that kind of cute little downtown area. We were running through like some businesses and
business
stuff like
areas
that.
and stuff.
So yeah. I was feeling okay. I was slightly undertrained because I was resting my hip. Zane stayed with us, so like we finally lost everyone. Tom and I had a plan. We were going to switch the interval at 7. Tom was struggling. I don't know if you.
I was on the struggle bus
almost immediately.
Fairly immediately, but like there was enough distraction to get me through the parks.
Yeah, and as soon as we exited the park,
I just kind of had a meltdown. But Diana and Zane.
I said, I can't believe Aaron is missing an actual Tom meltdown, like because it was like a nasty Tom meltdown, like the one you've always wanted to see.
God damn it!
I know. I'm sorry.
Where he's being Tom. Like real cranky.
I'll melt down again. I promise.
Like,
but
and
then there was somebody else there to witness it besides Diana.
Zane stayed with us basically until
kept going,
like mile 12.
All right, I'm gonna have to ask him about it now.
Yeah.
And Zane is an angel.
Yes,
Zane is amazing, positive,
great.
Like just ray of sunshine.
Yep. Didn't we flip the interval? I could tell he was hurting. I was hurting a little bit. I don't know. For me, sometimes it hurts more to walk, and then Tom gets to the point where he can only walk. So then that's where I think we kind of mismatch when we run.
Yeah.
Kind of near the end. Because for me, it hurts less to keep doing an interval. And then once I've started walking, I can't run at all. And my whole body hurts. So like you wanted to start walking it out at like 11. Zane made it a little bit more. And then he was like, I got to go.
I think he made it to basically like 12-ish, and then he was like, "I gotta go." We're like, "Please, thank you."
I kept encouraging him. I was like, "You don't have to be here anymore. Like, I've got him if you need to go."
Yeah.
Yeah, because we did almost a 4-hour half.
Yeah, it took a while.
Oh wow!
We were out there forever.
My gosh,
it was a long time. But so. I don't know. We finished the race. It was Jeff Galloway. Like once you turned into the very final finisher chute to kind of cross the finish line, he was out there cheering people on. That was kind of cool to see.
Okay.
And then at the end of the race, people sat around more for the half, but there was still nothing to do. It was a little bit warmer.
Yeah.
So people were able to stretch a little bit and kind of chit chat. The snack boxes were better in Disneyland. I will say that.
I'm curious. Actually, I wonder what was in them, because this go around, they actually had it was funny because we were saying everyone was like saying how good the snack boxes were, and Michael's like, I kind of liked the healthy food, and everyone was like, what is wrong with you?
Oh, so maybe they did it on both coasts, because we didn't.
Yeah, because they had the chips, the cheese, they had the gummies, they had
we had chips and cheese, we had fruit snacks,
Skittles. Yes. Yep, we had Skittles.
Yeah.
So. Everyone was saying how like they returned them back
to the other box.
Boo.
It's trash.
Right? Everyone except Michael was super excited that the boxes have returned.
Zane was on my side.
Okay, there you go.
Zane can do no wrong in my eyes.
And then Tom got a great quote from Zane. I don't know if you want to save it for the end.
I'm going to wrap this up with Zane's quote.
That's awesome.
Zane was talking us off the ledge the whole time. I don't know. We had some really great conversations. So it was good. But yeah, my body started to hurt. And then, it was so funny because I ran up to the group and I was like, hey, this is the plan. We're going to get to mile 7. And I think we were like at mile 6, maybe, or right before mile 6. And then, so I kind of ran up because they were just a little bit ahead of us. And then I said the plan. And then I dropped back to Tom. And then Tom was like cutting every single run short. And I was like, we're going to have to flip interval now. Like, I was like, we're not going to make it. If like,
oh, God.
My hips.
Yeah, and the thing that was weird about Tom this time, usually it's like a mental thing where he's like physically fine, but he's like, my feet hurt and like I just feel like garbage. Like he was like complaining of pain this time. And so that's when I was like, we need to do whatever you need to do.
Oh, yeah.
Which felt that, because usually mentally I can, I don't know, go Army Sergeant on him a little bit.
Kind of push it,
Keep me in the game.
A little bit. Yeah. But like here, when he was like, oh, my hips are starting to hurt, I was like,
this was more physical.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was annoying. Who knew you had to train for these events?
Yeah.
So weird.
You really should train for these events.
Because I think with the longest run you did, you went out with Nikki.
We did 8.
And you did 8, but you stopped running at 6. You did.
Like if I'm being honest, that's exactly what happened.
Too.
So basically, you've been coasting since Loopy Looper.
I was like, I can fake my way through a half marathon. That's a dumb statement.
Well, you can. You just hurt more. So I was sore because, like,
that's all.
Yeah, I mean, you clearly did fake your way through it. It's just a matter of how well you do it. You can. I do believe that you can fake your way through a half. It's just about as much how it's going to feel after.
Yeah, absolutely.
But at Disney race, you have to give yourself a buffer.
Yeah,
because we were nowhere near the balloon ladies, and like. The nice thing about those big parking lots, right, is you could turn around and see a single file line behind you that stretches for miles. So, we didn't remotely see them. So I was like,
you knew they were far back. Yeah,
we're going slow, but they're not going to get us.
That parking lot was bad, but I still think Blizzard Beach is worse. If it was sunny, it might have been worse than Blizzard Beach, but it was overcast.
Yeah. See, that is the thing about
the heat there. It's
the
usually
heat.
Rough. Yeah.
And it was actually not hot, super crazy hot this past weekend for Disney World. So I do think that
it wasn't as bad. It
was probably not as torturous to go through that area.
I think Blizzard Beach hurts my soul because you can see everyone.
Yeah.
Like you see, and it looks huge, and they should have something like in the middle.
Well, and then as soon as you come out, you hit that road, and it is just
miserable.
Nothing on it at all until you get up to Coronado, and they're even on the other side of the divided road.
Yeah. Well, wasn't the course this year different too? You came out the other way.
Yeah, you came out a different way. I forget exactly.
I feel like this year too, they changed the way.
But yeah, like I said, I didn't think it was that bad just because it looped, and it was something unfamiliar to me. So I think that helped as well.
Yeah,
but I
it wasn't.
Will say,
something different.
Not to downplay, because I know you would be very disappointed if all you ever did was Disney World races, and then you went and did this, and no one warned you. And I think I was at a slight advantage because when I did Disneyland, they were still actively going on, and I was listening to things like the Mickey Milers and things like that. So I had gotten, like, I knew what to expect going in. So I almost am like, oh, maybe I should have done something where I told people to, like. But I didn't know like what they were going to bring back or what they were going to change.
Who knows what they would have brought back.
Yeah, I mean, it's been 7 years.
Like, so I was like,
what the hell's going to be different?
So for the 10K, I was like, oh, they might have characters at the start, so let's get there a little bit early. And then they didn't. But like for me, I was like, same, but like if I'd only done Disney World races and this was my first time and I had all these magical expectations, I could see why it would be a punch in the nuts.
Yes.
The metaphorical nuts.
Well, yeah, and so again, like the same kind of dialogue over and over and over again, right? And now it's like, what are they going to change for the Halloween half marathon weekend?
They're not going to change anything.
If anything, they're going to add lighting. Like they're not going to bring beer back. They're not going to bring character. Like it's not going to change
lighting.
So they may change up where the characters are in the parks, right? Like they might just do. They're going to maybe make tweaks to what they can.
Yeah.
But they're not going to add fireworks right next to the same office building that we started next to. Like
no.
It'll be minor tweaks.
Yeah.
Not like
they're not going to be like, now we have a finishers village with beer and snacks and all. They're not going to do that.
And we say that, watch it be completely different.
And they're going to be like, suck it. But no, I thought it was I was happy to be back. Even when I was running there regularly, I said it wasn't an every time thing. And I mean, it sucks because it's so expensive to get out there. But in a perfect world, I would go out there and just do the 5K and 10K and be the happiest person in the world. I'd be so happy with that, but you can't use that for coast to coast.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, so like that's where the pain is. But
going forward, you could just, now that you did coast to coast, you can just do whatever out there.
Yeah. And we did confirm that it was the special coast to coast for Marathon to Disneyland, and then now going forward there's going to be a separate medal for like if you do Disneyland and springtime or whatever. Because somebody was saying that I might get a different medal for doing springtime because it's a 10-miler, but that's not the case. It's like one for everything else, and then this was unique for Marathon weekend.
Gotcha.
Well, do you have anything else to say about the weekends? If not, I can read a couple emails.
No, I think we can move on to the emails. I mean, I kind of echo what Diana said. I'm glad we did it. Yeah, I think we're good.
Okay. Let's see. So, with this episode, as we said, we recorded a little bit at Marathon weekend. I know we did something after the 10K, then nothing the half marathon because it was pouring. And then we did, I think maybe because we mentioned, did we even mention Matt Trax and his pizza cone? Matt Trax had a pizza cone.
That was amazing.
Well, I didn't have the pizza cone, so I can't say it was amazing. But he said it was like the most amazing thing he's ever had. And it was literally like a hard shell pizza crust cone thing. And inside was just stuffed cheese and pepperoni. And he was like a 5-year-old with in a candy store while eating this.
Like very happy.
I have never seen a person so happy eating a pizza cone. And so I did a interview with him while he was eating his pizza cone.
That is true. I think that was the one.
I think that's the only thing we got from Marathon Day because of how excited he looked over his pizza
cone. Where'd this pizza cone come from?
The one of the food trucks that was at the finish line.
Oh, must be nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was pretty hilarious. So that's pretty much the only recording I took on Marathon Day. Tom said that he has a couple things from Disneyland, so we're going to drop those at the end of this episode. And then we asked a couple people for some feedback. So this is the voice memo we got from Tony.
I can't believe I met him.
I know. It was like meeting a superstar.
It was amazing.
Him and DVC Runner was like...
I don't know. Tony's pretty famous.
He was on TV. He got interviewed for
by the local
news channel.
Oh.
Famous. We're not worthy.
I don't know the last time I saw local news, but regardless.
Hey all, this is Tony, GB Raps for those of you on Instagram. I know I'm not as famous as DVC Runner, but I did get on the local Fox affiliate in Orlando after the 10K. So
I love that.
Maybe we're coming for him. Anyways, my favorite memory of the weekend was definitely the half of a half. Weather shortened it. We made the best out of the situation. We started the race, the four of us running together, and then every photo stop, we'd just turn around and grab friends off the course. And by the last picture, we probably had 20, 30 people in it. So that was an amazing experience. Aaron got to hop in one of the pictures with us. It was awesome to meet Aaron and Mike for the first time in person. It was just overall just a typical Run Disney weekend that's so much fun, full of laughs. Your face hurts from smiling so much. And you just can't replace it. It's one of the most magical things you can experience in life is the friendships that you grow from Run Disney, and looking forward to seeing each other every race weekend. So it was just adding to that memory bank, some core memories along the way. And, you know, my injury sucked. The marathon happened. We finished it, is what it is. But there was just too much fun along the way to worry about that. Have fun. Good luck in the new year, everyone.
Oh, that was nice.
That is kind of the best part, when you can do that with the groups and everybody just kind of starts hopping in.
So I said that people. One picture was like the most random picture I've ever jumped into in my entire life. And I feel like I've jumped into a lot of random pictures, but this one, like, I think it was because it just had so many different like groups of people from like different friend groups from different things that I was like, none of these people make sense in my head to be put in the same location. All right. And then I got an email from a Catherine Nickel, which is KPF Feninin? KP. Listen, can we not with these handles? Like, I don't know how to pronounce them. Tony, we have no idea how to pronounce your last name. We just had an argument over whether it was Rapple or Rappel.
It's like Scrapple. Gotta be.
So it's like Scrapple. All right. Well, forgive me for all of the wrong names. This is what we do here at the Will Run For podcast.
Are you talking about KP Fennin?
Feninin? It's got two N's. Feninin?
No, you don't pronounce both ends. You don't pronounce both of the interior ends.
Syllable?
I don't know.
What do you do? Fun knee?
Yes.
You say fun knee?
Sometimes.
Fennin.
Listen.
Look, that's fine.
It's summer.
This is gold, Jerry. Anywho, keep going.
I don't know if I can.
Don't make an error pronouncing names.
I cannot. I don't listen. I'm not. This is why I cannot speak another language, because I can't figure out phonetics. I don't know what to tell you.
There you go.
All right. Hi, Will Run For Crew. A quick note. I found you guys last March, right before Dopey registration.
Oh, nice.
I started with episode 1, and you quickly became my running friends as training kicked off. I purposely reserved a few episodes for the marathon, knowing when I'd need it. My running friends would get me through. And get me through you did. After the downpour at Magic Kingdom, I entered the construction hellscape, also known as Cone Alley. I thought to myself, yep, it's Will Run For time. This was my first Dopey, and I couldn't have done it without you guys. Looking forward to hearing your marathon weekend thoughts.
Oh, that was awesome.
Congratulations on your Dopey.
Congrats on Dopey.
We have Ian Connor, who says, it was another great marathon weekend, seeing longtime friends and enjoying the rain Disney was able to schedule for the half and the full. The best part for me was seeing my son run both the 5K and 10K and seeing him discover the fun of Disney races, stopping for characters and pictures along the course and at the finish. His first run was the Mickey Mile at the 2015 marathon weekend, so this weekend brought things full circle. For me, since we ran as bellhops from the Tower of Terror, getting to ride Tower during the race was the highlight. They had closed Everest to runners by the time we got there, so that was one miss in an otherwise great weekend. Thanks to my wife, my kids, Donna, Brittany, Carly, Ryan, and Ryan for another great weekend.
Very nice.
We have Doug, who we talked about a couple times. Hey, Will Run For. I didn't have time to record a voice memo, but I wanted to send a quick email with my marathon weekend highlights. The highlights definitely included meeting Erin before the half. That wasn't a half. While I was talking to Bob from Rise and Run, and then getting to hang with Michael in the crowd before the marathon. It was a real treat, made the time pass quickly, and took my mind off the fact that I had to pee. Why are there no porta potties in the corral?
Yes.
Michael and I also saw each other again on the course after we left Magic Kingdom on the stretch after Grand Flow and Shades of Green. Then we saw each other one more time backstage at Epcot before the finish. Seeing familiar faces, or since this is podcasting, is it voices, made this weekend a lot more fun than it already was. I was, of course, mildly disappointed that the half was shortened, but runDisney made the right call with the information that they had at the time. Safety, especially the safety of the volunteers and cast members, is paramount, and I have a feeling that regardless of the distance we ran, Marathon Weekend 2024 will be one people will remember for a long time. Some of my fellow All-Star Resort guests wound up completing the remaining 6 miles on the 1 mile jog trail in what I'm calling the first and hopefully last All-Star 6 miler. We were soaked, but at least when it was done, we were close to our rooms. Anyway, the lessons here are 1, always introduce yourself to podcast hosts at runDisney events, and 2, keep your eyes open for friends on the course. I'm so glad I got to meet part of the Will Run For crew in real life, as the kids say, IRL.
Love it.
Keep up the good work, and hopefully I'll see you next year at Dopey if I can snag a registration. All of the best, Doug, a.k.a. Brooklyn Spoke on Instagram and everywhere else.
Yes.
Thank you, Doug.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Wasn't he at...
He was
in Disneyland,
yes,
too. He didn't even mention Disneyland, probably because I said something about...
Disney World.
Yeah, but I thought the other post I said. Anyway, yeah, he was in Disney World as well. Disneyland as well.
Yeah.
Because he did coast to coast. I saw those pictures.
All right, so do we want to wrap up with something good? Because it's been a while.
Yes. Just make sure everybody stays to the end. We'll have some on the ground stuff after this.
Nice.
Like, I have one, but I don't want to steal the obvious one.
Oh, I have one. Oh, yeah. We haven't recorded since then. I have one.
Oh, God.
My something good is Saltburn.
Oh, God. The reactions.
I loved it. I thought it was amazing.
I didn't watch it, so I have no reaction to it.
We should watch it together.
God.
It's a romantic comedy.
I saw this video on, I think it was like a TikTok of a girl. She like made her family watch it like on Christmas or something. And she kind of just recorded like the floor, but you could just hear people like screaming and like her family, like, "Oh my God, why did you do this?" Like it was
Oh my God.
It's not like Midsummer bad or anything.
No, Midsummer actually wasn't as scary as I thought it was. It was just unsettling.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, I agree. It's not a scary movie. It's not like a horror film in the way of like that you would think of a traditional horror film.
No,
but it's
I felt
definitely
uncomfortable
like
the rest of the day.
yes, it's very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll probably feel uncomfortable after Saltburn. It was good.
So fun. So fun.
Yeah, it's my something good.
Well, I was going to say one thing, but now I just changed it. So Disneyland, Avengers Campus. I love Avengers Campus.
Yeah.
And specifically because, like, if I did the count right, we saw about 16 different characters.
Wow.
Throughout the course of the time that we were there. And it's immersive, and there's good food, and the shawarma, which was just in this cart. Like, it was delicious, and Pim's test laboratory had good drinks, and
the food is really good.
Yeah, everything about it was really, really good.
Yeah, the one thing I said where people I think complain about Avengers Campus because there's not much there. There's like the Spider-Man ride and the Guardians of the Galaxy ride, and that's kind of it. And then it's just kind of food. But the characters are walking around nonstop. There are little shows like every 20 minutes. There's like a Doctor Strange show. The Dora Milaje come out and do a demonstration. There's like every half hour there's a Spider-Man show where he comes out and he swings, and like there's fights that happen, and there's really good character interactions. And this is where I think Star Wars missed the mark because they tried to make Star Wars You're on a planet you've never seen before, whereas in Avengers Campus, you know exactly where you are immediately. But everything in Star Wars Lands feels familiar. There's not enough character interaction. I'm not saying they need like character stops or anything like that, but they're too committed, I think, to the timeline in Star Wars Land, where they should have Han and Luke walking around. They should have Princess Leia there. They should have Darth Vader.
Yeah.
They should just ignore the timeline.
It should be all the eras.
And it should just be everything together. And we thought that's what Avengers Campus did really well. Like you had regular Captain America, and then you had like the new Falcon Captain America. Like not together at the same time, but like one would be out, and then 20 minutes later, like the what do we call him? Like Captain Mackie would be out. Kamala Khan was there. Iron Man was there. Okay. Shuri Black Panther and regular Black Panther. Like they weren't like together where they were like in the same space at the same time, but they were all there. You could see we had a really great interaction with Miss Marvel. She was incredible.
She's incredible.
So cute. Loki's were really good. Like we were able to get a picture with like Thor and Loki together, and Wasp and Black Widow together, and like they do like a Guardians of the Galaxy dance party. They've just made the experience. If the rides aren't there, they've made the experiences really, really immersive and fun. And the last day there, we just spent hours just hanging out in Avengers Campus. We'd get a drink and we'd sit down and we'd be like, who's going to come out? Do we want to get a photo with them? Do we want to have a cute little interaction with them? So I think if Disney could take one thing, it's apply that to Star Wars Land.
Yeah, I think that makes a ton of sense.
Thor might have been the manliest man I've ever met in person.
Tom got so uncomfortable with Thor. All right, there were 2 quotes from Tom this weekend that I died from. The first, we were walking around. It was like the last or second to last day. Tom looks at me and he says, I'm getting real tired of meeting my step goal. Number 1. And then we were in line for Thor and Loki. And Tom looks at me and he kind of whispers. He gets down real low. And he's like, God, like Thor's like a real man, like a man. It's like what?
Like, you know, like if something happened, I'm going to go over to him because he's going to be able to protect me.
It was.
I mean, he is the god of thunder, so.
Oh, he was godlike, I'll tell you that.
I laughed so hard.
So yeah, my something good is the Avengers Campus.
Oh. I'll pick because I talked, so that'll be mine too. Ditto.
Well then, if we want to...
we're also binging Succession, which is good, but also very intense.
Yes.
And there's some funny moments.
That's one that I've always like thought to pick, that I'd want to pick up at some point, and I haven't.
It's one of those ones that's been ruined for me because everybody talks about it. Not ruined in the spoilery way, but just that I don't have interest because I've heard everybody talk about it too much.
Oh, yeah.
In the worst way possible, where I don't have interest now.
Yeah, I can see that.
I get it.
Mr. Darcy's in there, so that just makes me happy. And all the characters are just terrible people, and you're not really rooting for anyone, but there's like some funny moments. I don't know. Michael, I actually kind of think you would like it.
Probably. It's just one of those,
Yeah.
I'll make him watch it at some point.
It's long because the episodes are an hour.
Yeah.
So it's long.
Oh, you know what we watched that I liked? Monarch, even though that wasn't going to be my something good.
Monarch
but I guess
on Apple TV Plus.
Monarch on Apple TV Plus was pretty good.
I enjoyed that.
Is that the one with Kurt Russell?
Yes. And his son. Yeah.
And his son.
That's a Godzilla situation, right?
Yes.
Kong, Godzilla, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's different-ish.
That's good.
Yeah, I liked it a lot. And I'm not like a huge Godzilla type person, like into like that genre, but like I thought it was a really well put together. In general, we generally like all of the. I'm saying general a lot. General. We like most of the stuff we watch on Apple TV Plus, though.
Yes.
I think we were trying to watch that. We couldn't find it, but we were also. Isn't there another Godzilla movie out?
It's called Minus One
That's
or something.
a Japanese film, yeah.
why are there 2 out at the same time?
I don't
Because
know.
Deep Impact?
They're not owned. It's not the same production. Because there's the Japanese Godzillas, and then
this is Monarch Legacy of Monsters.
Yeah, this is related to the like Skull Island, all that stuff.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
What the hell are you doing?
But
God.
but it was definitely way more interesting than I don't know. I guess because I like in my mind Godzilla is kind of like whatever, it's Godzilla. But I thought the storylines were done very well in this particular show.
Mm-hmm.
So I enjoyed it. I was just trying to like go through all the things we've watched. But I, as always, like to be sentimental at the end of like community centric episodes. And I know that I'm like a broken record, but I will shout out our community one more time just because I obviously found out that I have cancer in December. I announced it on our Instagram page. I've received for sure an outpouring of love and support. And I understand that people want to, talk about what a fighter and all that stuff that I am. And I appreciate that. It's not necessarily a fight that I can quote unquote win this time. So, we'll have to choose our wordings more wisely in the future. But I appreciate that everyone is there for me, supporting me and thinking about me. And, we're going to continue here for as long and as best as we can. I didn't really say this at the beginning of the episode, but our schedule might become a little bit more erratic over the next few months as I start treatment next week, most likely, or this week as you're listening to this. So we'll just kind of take it as it comes. We are still planning to do our virtually live race for 2024. So be prepared for some announcements about that. Michael and I would like the proceeds this year to go towards a charity that I have found that really represents the underrepresented people, specifically going through breast cancer. Because I have to say, if we didn't have really good insurance and we didn't have a really great doctor or hospital in our area, I have no idea how we would have navigated through the last month and a half. We've been very fortunate, and I don't want to take that for granted. So, this community is great, and we appreciate all the support that you've given us through the years. But me, and particularly over the last month and a half, I appreciate all of the people who've reached out to me.
Well, we love you, and we're rooting for you. And
yeah, that was very well said. And I think I'm going to wrap us up with a quote from Zane, who again, Angel Zane, got us through. Let me just backtrack real quick. We saw the chases a bunch in the park.
Oh, yeah.
And that was really cool to see. So shout out to the chases. But back to Zane.
We saw them a lot.
We did like randomly, but back to Zane. So Zane left us at mile 12, but he left us with a quote. And I'm going to paraphrase. And he said, Zane reminds us that finding joy is the greatest act of resistance.
There you go.
So deep.
It's very deep.
Very deep.
We were getting deep. You know how like you're out there on those late miles and then you start getting real deep?
Yeah.
We were.
Yep.
We were.
Philosophical.
It does happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially when you don't wear headphones.
Oh, yeah.
So again, thank you everyone for listening. We really appreciate it. Happy New Year for the last time.
Yeah.
And we will talk later.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Ollie was just tripping over wires.
And
Bye.
I lost my headphone. Bye. Good morning from the 10K Walt Disney World Marathon Weekend finish area. I'm your not host, Erin, and with me, as always, is
Michael.
Always as cheery as always. We are standing here waiting to see whether we can find anyone we know. We weren't 100% sure if we were going to make it here this weekend, but here we are. Yeah, Michael, do you have anything to say to the people?
No, not yet. We're just waiting for people. Nothing has happened. We're tired.
It's true, we are tired. Nothing will make you realize how big these races are until you're standing just looking at swaths of people trying to see whether you can even recognize one single person of the 10,000 that are coming at you. We are now at the 10K finish area. I've been really bad about interviewing people, but I have Ryan on the run here with me. Hi, Ryan.
Hello, how's it going?
Not bad. How was your race?
Not too bad. Long, but did a couple characters. Uneventful, so.
You're doing Dopey for the how many time?
7th Dopey.
7th Dopey. That seems ridiculous to me, but what characters were out there in the last 2 days that you enjoyed seeing?
Well, we had Mary Poppins and Bert and the Penguins, so a big group of them. That was good. We had Jose. Yesterday was kind of I guess each race is like a decade of Disney or something that they're trying to do. So they're trying to go. Today was 40s to 60s.
Interesting. I think that is because we saw Ugly Duckling out there yesterday, right?
Yeah, yesterday they had old school characters and a little bit newer today. I guess tomorrow will be 70s, 80s. So.
Okay, interesting. That's a weird way to theme it, especially if you're not running all the races, but interesting enough. Thank you we'll see you out there tomorrow, right?
Yeah, great to see you guys.
Bye. I'm here with Amy, Miles and Crowns. How are you, Amy?
I'm great.
What did you do today?
I handed out medals for all the 10Ks.
And how was that for you?
I loved it because I saw everybody.
That's awesome. Is this your first time volunteering?
Yes, it is.
Would you do it again?
Yes, as long as it was medals again, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
What time did you have to wake up to get that done?
1:15. So I got here before everybody else did.
We think that running this race is ridiculous. Our volunteers do an amazing job at getting up even earlier to be out there so that they can prepare all of the course for us. So we should make sure we're nice to all of our volunteers. Thanks, Amy.
Thank you.
Hey, Tony, I thought you were leaving an hour ago.
Well, then, the local news really wanted to meet me and show me off to the world, so I had to run over there and tell them, my life story.
Wow, I'm sorry.
Big Fox News interview because they pulled him aside, so he's a real life influencer now.
He became a real life influencer when he was on the runDisney page last night, right? Hi, we have Kelly here.
But now we all need to OMG him when we see him, just like we do DVC Runner.
OMG, it's Tony.
I mean, the runDisney page is a weekly tradition for me here. That's for all the people who prefer superior podcasts like Rise and Run. That's why.
Whoa! We will be. I'm sure Michael will be bleeping that out shortly. That's some fighting words there, Tony.
Yeah, but that's why I'm referred to as Hollywood over there. Per Greg, he started that 3 weekends ago. So you got to dress your costume up to get on social media. So that's how DVC Runner does it. So I'm just striving to be like Joe.
And I see Linda over here who's taking pictures of the influencer Tony. Linda, how was your race?
My race was great. I was pretty slow, but we did it.
And what are you right now?
I'm Captain Hook. I have a fake mustache on. It's not real.
It's not real. That is not a real mustache. You're telling me that is a fake mustache.
It is a fake mustache. It was really hard to drink water. I can't move my lips.
How are the characters out there this weekend?
The characters are pretty good. My one need was either Peter Pan or Wendy today, and I got Wendy, so I was happy.
Nice. And Kelly, how was your races for the weekend?
It was very good. I'm doing the 10K and the half because we're going to Disneyland next week. So I walked with Linda, and it was very good.
Oh, nice. I like it. I'm going to go find some more people to interview, but thank you so much for being with us.
Oh, happy to be here, and make sure everyone knows Tony's the new influencer of the season.
Thanks. Hello. I have Mal here.
Hi.
How are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm pretty good. Just surprised a bunch of people by showing up at the finish line area. Made a lot of people cry, so that was really fun for me. How was your morning?
Great. I got to volunteer, and it was so fun seeing all my friends and giving them medals and hugs.
I heard from Amy that you guys got up at like 1:30 this morning.
I had my alarm set for 1, and I hit snooze twice, and then we were out the door by 1:45.
That seems pretty ridiculous.
Yes, it was. It was early, and now I'm very tired.
Are you running this weekend?
Yes, I'm doing the half and the full.
Nice. Do you have costumes planned?
I do. Tomorrow I'm going to do Daisy for the half, and then for the full, Steph doodled me a tank for Team Fox.
Oh, nice. I like it. All right, we've got Violet here.
Hi.
How you doing?
Living the dream.
What's going on? What's going on with you these days? We're here, standing here. There's a little scooter in front of you.
Yeah, it's my boot scoot. I still, from when I was last on your podcast, I'm still struggling with the same things, although now I've also been diagnosed with multiple bone spurs. So, yeah, I'm an overachiever. I'm adding to my list.
I like it. Everyone at the same time that is standing around you did a lovely little cringe thing. So you are not running this weekend at all?
I had signed up for the half. I think I'm going to start it because these races are expensive. So I'm going to try to get my medal, earn it virtually later. So I think I'm going to...
I feel like we're in the same kind of boat. So we're going to toe the line and see what happens. Good luck out there. I have Marcia. Hi, Marcia.
Oh, hello.
I know you weren't expecting this. How was your morning?
It was good. It's chilly, but the sun is out, and I'm here with all my favorite people, so it's good.
And what are you running this weekend?
So I will be running tomorrow the half marathon for the Michael J. Fox Team Fox Foundation. I am currently the 4th highest fundraiser, so super excited for that. And we have...
Congratulations! That's amazing.
Thank you. I'm so excited for it. I just love that man and everything he stands for, and super excited to run for that charity.
Yeah, nice. I love it. Before Melissa leaves, I'm going to say hi to Melissa real quick.
Hi, Erin.
How are you?
I'm good.
What are you dressed as?
I am dressed as Scarlet Witch.
And did you have a favorite character out there on course today?
Mad Madam Mim. Well, that's a costume. Favorite character out on course? The 3 fairies were out, and I finally got a picture with them, which was very cool.
Nice. And you're doing is this your first Dopey?
That's right.
Is this your first? This is not your first marathon, because I know you ran Philly and I know you ran New York. So that was going to be a dumb question, as I was about to say it. But what is this representing for you?
So, almost 6 years ago now, I was diagnosed with breast cancer. And so for the 5-year anniversary, I guess, of my diagnosis and my treatment, I wanted to run all of the races in Disney World. So I started with Princess 2023, and I'm finishing with Dopey 2024.
I'm so proud of you, and we all know she's going to start crying, I'm going to start crying, so we're going to cut this off before all that happens, but thank you for being an inspiration, especially for me.
Thank you, and I'm really happy to be running for the American Cancer Society this time. It means a lot. All
right, thanks, guys.
The street.
What's happening here, Snarky?
I am powering down because I'm a sad shell of a human being after, 3.5 days of work? Yes. Hi. You came over while I was saying I never want to go to Springs, because really Disney Springs is a pain in the butt to get to. The food is good, but it's a pain in the butt. I asked for a snark on the street, and that's the content we got, everyone. Hi, Dan.
Hi, Aaron. How are you today?
I'm lovely. How are you?
I'm fantastic. Thank you.
Who's your boyfriend?
My boyfriend would be Jeff Galloway.
Oh, are you spending some quality time with him?
You could say that, I guess, yes.
3 times, I hear.
This weekend.
3 times this weekend.
Yeah,
I have Steph, his wife, here too, talking about Jeff Galloway and the boyfriend. How are you, Steph?
I'm a little jealous about this relationship they have. He gets all the good time with him, and I have to deal with him on the course.
How was the course today?
Today was good. Little cold. My hands didn't work for an hour after, but otherwise it was a lot of fun characters and interesting 40s and 50s music that we got to listen to. Some Sinatra. There was some singing across the finish line. It was good.
We heard that the themes this weekend are like every race is a different century, not century, that'd be 100 years. A decade?
It's generally 2 decades. From what they said, it was 2 decades smushed together. So we had 40s and 50s today and 20s and 30s yesterday, based on the characters that they had out that were like the Ugly Duckling, which is really rare. They never have that out, and no one knew who she was because half in an egg.
Half in an egg. Oh, Oswald was there. I miss Oswald. Who was out there today?
A bunny that I don't know the name of, but Tracy Wu would know because she was dressed up like her. Who else was out there? Wendy was out there. Pinocchio, who we didn't stop for. Fantasia characters.
Yes, the ostrich and the hippo.
Okay, and Dan, what were you dressed as today?
I was an evil queen. Not the evil queen, but inspired by the evil queen.
Why were you not the evil queen?
Because I didn't have the right crown.
And what were you, Steph?
Hades.
Okay. Also inspired. Okay, well, are you looking forward to tomorrow's race?
No, I do not want to be out in the rain at all. If I could project myself from the start to the finish quickly, I would.
All right. Anybody else got any content for me? Anyone would like to talk? I have Amy back here again. Amy, you got anything for me?
No.
Okay. How about Mal?
I'm really excited to start dancing in the corrals and annoy Amy because she's not going to do that at all. And I'm super excited.
Thank you for that content. I'm here with supposedly retired marathoner Megan, who
a marathon this weekend, just saying.
However, she also, if you listen to our last podcast, voluntarily told Tom that she would run a marathon again. If what?
If he registers.
Okay, Tom, are you going to register for the Marine Corps Marathon?
Yes.
Thank you.
Dave Matthews a lot. Dave Matthews is really good, like the Foo Fighters, and I'm going to run Marine Corps in 2025.
Yes, thank you. Appreciate that. Aw, poor Tom. We love you, Tom. Mark, are you excited to be running tomorrow?
Absolutely. As long as it doesn't rain from the start.
Okay.
If it rains 3 miles in, I'm good.
Okay.
Me to start with the rain.
Yeah, that's fair. That's a fair assessment. Are there any characters you're hoping to see out there?
Absolutely not.
Okay, you don't really care about characters.
No characters.
No characters. All right.
What I'm forced to stop at are the exciting ones. When Megan says we have to stop at this character, I'm excited.
Thank you for that quality content. Appreciate that.
You're welcome. Look at that.
So, we did not do any on the ground yesterday at the half where it rained for a lot and there was no after party. But we are at the marathon after party and I've got, you're dripping. I've got Matt Trax here. And he's got a pizza cone. What's a pizza cone?
It is basically a piece of bread stuffed with cheese and pepperoni. It's amazing. Hits different after a marathon, I guess. I don't know.
You look like you're very happy with your pizza cone.
I am ecstatic about this pizza cone. It's all I need right now, honestly.
How was your dopey?
It was great. My friends were awesome. We stopped for every character. It was so much fun.
I'm glad to see you back out here this year. Will you be back next year?
That's to be decided.
right. I don't know if money will allow it. We'll see. We understand how that goes. Thanks, Matt.
Hi guys, coming to you live from the line for merch. It's chaos right now. I think they're trying to do their best, but there's a lot of opinions going on in this line, and happier minds will prevail, but we will see. So we're all trying to follow instructions, and those tend to be conflicting sometimes, which is fine, but also very stressful and lends itself to conflict. Will not run for conflict. Talk later.
In all fairness, what doesn't make sense is...
Hey guys, reporting again. This is now the third line we've been in, but we're inside the building.
Michael would be losing his mind right now in the state of a line to a line to a line. He would die. He'd hate it here.
But unlike Disney World, all of this seems to be contained in the same big building space, so that's kind of nice. So we're in the merch line, the official merch line, and then we'll funnel out into the regular expo floor and then get our bibs and all that jazz. I'm really hoping for a pineapple cider, but I don't know if that's here. So we will see. But we already met a new friend in line. Hi. And yeah, we're about to spend a lot of money on some stuff. So cheers, and we will check in later. Hi friends, it's the afternoon after the expo. Diana and I are at Ballast Point upstairs on their patio, having a few beers. The expo is nice. I mean, it's definitely going to be different than Walt Disney World. It was all contained into one building. It felt like it was much more crowded, but it's not spread out. And my biggest gripe was there was no pineapple cider, which is fine, but still, it's a different experience. Diana, what did you think about the expo?
I thought the expo was good. Again, like, it is, I feel like, slightly less space, so it does feel more crowded, but I did like the convenience of having it all in one spot. And we were group 5 for the merchandise, so we got in and got almost everything that we wanted, I think. I pre-ordered some merchandise, so I was able to pick that up, so like no issues there. We went to Craftsman at the Grand Californian, and we'd never been there, and it was just fabulous for lunch. So if you need like a nice little spot, they had a walk up. We got so much food. The drinks were really, really good. I got some rum drink that tasted just like pineapple juice, and I was scared it was going to physically kill me. So I got that, and then I got some tequila-based. Now we're at Ballast Point drinking beer. So, I don't know. Liquor before beer, you're in the clear. Am I in the clear? Or is it beer before, what is it? Beer before liquor. Never been sicker. I don't know. I'm not running tomorrow, so YOLO.
YOLO. And this day might get away from us, but hey, when in Rome.
Whoop, whoop.
Good morning, We'll Run for Family. This is Tom reporting live from the expo for the Disneyland Half Marathon weekend. Aaron asked me to get some on-the-ground stuff, and so I'm going to try. I might forget. But we're in the Disneyland Hotel right now, waiting for our merch line to be called. We're Group 5, which is amazing because Ryan somehow is a miracle worker. But I'm here with Nicole.
Hi.
Ryan.
Hello.
And Diana.
Hello.
And we are all excited to spend way too much money on, sometimes not the best quality merch, but it's okay. It's fine. We're all good. How's everybody feeling? Any must-haves today?
I really want to get the ears. That's like the only thing that I really want. I'm scared I'm not going to be able to, so we'll see.
How about you guys?
I buy everything.
Everything.
It's the worst.
Shirt, magnet, the little metal keychain or pin. Looks like a medal.
We'll check in periodically throughout the day and throughout the weekend, but here we go. It's back after, 6 years, 7 years it's been gone?
7 years.
7 years. This is the first Disneyland Half Run Disney race back in California after 7 long years. Bye. Hey guys, checking in again from the heart of the expo. I'm on the floor at the Run Disney merch. It's a little chaotic, but honestly it's not terrible. It's a smaller space in general, but I think people are being on their best behavior. There's a bunch of cool shirts and jackets, and the ears are cool. We don't need anything, but we got a couple shirts. We got the jacket. I really like the jacket. So, I don't know. It's not too bad. There is 1 million people here, and everyone's shouting at each other. But it's all good. Diana, how's this expo going?
Not too bad. Like when we first got in here, it wasn't terrible, but now it's getting worse. So, yeah, we got to get out of here soon.
All right, we're about to pay for our merch and then go into the main expo floor. So we'll talk later. All right, 2 shout outs real quick. Shout out to this toddler who is just spinning in place in the middle of all this chaos. He's having the time of his life. And then shout out to all the cast members who are really, really trying to keep this thing organized and keep the shelves stocked and answer questions. I mean, they do a lot of work and are not met with a lot of thanks. So, I mean, they're awesome. So thank you to them. Now to pay for this stuff.
Hey, Linda here, aka Kizzle. I just wanted to share a quick thought about the Disneyland races. It was all brand new to me, so it was very different than what I'm used to in Florida. And I think if I had gone into the weekend with less expectations, it might have been a little bit different for me. I liked the 5K course the best, starting in the parks and ending in the parks. The half marathon had a little bit too many street miles for me, but I didn't research that fully prior. I knew there were street miles. I didn't realize we don't go back into the parks at the end. And I cheered for the 10K, which was fun. I was hoping to cheer inside the parks, but that wasn't available. So we cheered at the Esplanade in between the 2 parks, which was fun. It was great to see everybody go by. Costuming looked great. I did enjoy the way AWD ran in California. I feel like they had it a little bit better over there. The experience in general was good. I feel like they have a little bit of a learning curve that they could grow from, but it was their first time back in 7 or 8 years, so we'll give them some grace. I'm not sure I can make it in September, and I'm not sure I'm sad about that yet or not. It might be okay to skip a little bit and see what happens in September and see how they grow. But overall, it was a good experience. I'm glad that I went. I'm not sure I'm jumping at the bit to go back right away.
Good morning, Will Run 4. We're back here. It is Saturday morning. We are walking to the start of the 10K. I got Ryan, Nicole, and Diana with me. It's about 45 degrees outside. And our hotel is literally right in front of the start area, so that's pretty cool. But how's everybody feeling?
Cold.
A little chilly.
I'm sleepy.
All right, we are not too talkative this morning, which is okay. But I will be checking in later because I'm going to be hanging out. I'll be hanging out all morning, so yeah. So I don't know. We got a little confused with the way that we walk, but let's see. So this is a terrible voice recording. Oh.